The title of this exhibition references a song by Graham Parker, as well as artist René Magritte's definition of a garden. Can you tell us about the balance between popular culture and high art in your work?
Well, I think it has to do with the fact that it's all in my life and it's all in the kind of making of art, that I'm as influenced by popular culture now, cartoons, things like that, music, as well as art history. And I've always really kind of loved the balance and bring in the high and low. And even that's in the craft department too. So we have ceramics, we have weaving, we have drawing. And so conceptually, I think I'm a hybrid, but also formally too.
Mm-hmm. So the works cover the gallery floors and walls. Where do you think the viewer's gaze levels out? Is there a horizon to the work?
It's really interesting. The fact that I'm still learning about this space and I'm still working in that space, I'm not sure. Not all the rugs are down yet, so it's going to be interesting to see. I think for me, there are 3 galleries upstairs. So first, you start downstairs and the ceramics. So the gaze is the walls. You're walking all the way around. You're hit by the chart, the color chart, the word chart. Then you're kind of walking around it. So downstairs is one thing, upstairs is another thing. You come up here, and I really think it's about filling the space. It's, the walls, the dialogue between wall, floor. So, and walking through, so it's a very different physical experience. Downstairs is a kind of classic way of looking at paintings, looking at objects on the wall. Upstairs is really a much more immersive environment.
Thank you. You've described employing an intuitive yet systematic use of colour in your work. How have you applied this to this exhibition?
Well, that's interesting. So upstairs, here, the room that we're sitting in, we have 3 rugs based on the spectrum of color and the primary colors. So that's something that when you work with color, this whole idea of the primaries, those are the 3. We have yellow, blue, and red. And for me, what's interesting is they're the base colors. And they're very much, the weavers are following a plan and a kind of idea of color. Then up on the wall, a whole series of drawings where anything goes. So you have the structure, which is the geometry, the target, and then you have an intuitive response to color. So almost kind of I just lay out the colors and just kind of zone out and make a kind of arrangement. So there's the control on the floor, very systematic. On the wall, it's intuitive. It's structured, but it's also intuitive. And then, so also in the big room, you have the 8 colors, and we're upstairs. So downstairs, you have those 8 colors. And then you go upstairs, and you have those 8 colors. But in the first room, then things get a little out of whack. That's when the squiggles start, the squiggly lines. Then you go to the targets.
So along those lines as well, some of the works are crafted by you, like the ceramics, and others, like the rugs, are made by fabricators. Mm-hmm. How important is the process of making or being made to you?
It's really interesting. I think it opens up the whole idea of hand and touch. And even though they're fabricated, and I have to say it's a humbling process to work with the weavers in Mexico, who are so incredible, that, it starts with me and it's my hand. We make a drawing, then the process, it goes to the weavers. So there's not that much difference. I think my hand is in it. But it's also this time and material thing. I still, what's interesting about this show and not usually in my shows are the drawings. So that's a thought process too. So it's all different thought processes, the drawing, the rugs, the wallflower, the beads. So it's a thought process and it's a time process and it's a material process.
You've described feminism as just another colour in the work.
Oh boy.
Lovely quote. Could you tell us a bit about your position on feminism?
I hate this question, but I think I'll just bring it to now, because it's such a long history that I have with this, and generational too, but we're in a time that the last show I did in New York was called The Potential of Women, and it's also the time of the Me Too. We're living in Trump, we're living in Me Too, and it's something that just is innate to the work. It's just innate to who I am, and how it comes out is really interesting. It's still up for grabs, so it's something I'm thinking about. It was clear in the last show, The Potential of Women, and I think in this show, the targets and the wallflower, it's there, but it's not. I don't know. I'm not a. How do I say it? It's very important to me, but I like the term one color, because I hope that my work is very open-ended and that all the different meanings are there.
Mm-hmm. And so final question. There are some older and some newer works placed alongside each other in the exhibition. Could you tell us why you've done this?
Well, when you're an older artist, it's really, you forget things and then they come full circle. I think that's what happens. We've got a lot of circles here. And the wallflower was the first target, the woman who wasn't asked to dance, and a kind of role reversal of materials. So, and even the wall floor thing. So the structure of the wall is the strength. It's, it's part of the work. And something that's so light and ethereal, but also pointed. And so this it was very important for me to have the first target in the work. That's 20 years, and so, I probably wasn't thinking about it, and then it sort of became very present. And so I thought, I have to have this in. And I like it that it's a journey through time for me as an artist. And it's very, it's very tactily very different. It's a different, and maybe earlier on it was a different tactility, but still this interest in beauty and form, which I think is still in the work, and color. But it was a kind of earlier thought. So I wanted to bring that earlier thought present.